enough, let's get to a guy who knows whereof he speaks. Attorney Stephen J.J. Weisman, professor at Bentley University and author of the new book, Identity Theft Alert. Stephen, welcome back. The alert concerning HealthCare.gov, do you buy the government's response that, hey, no personal information got out and everything's going to be fine?
Well, I buy half of it. I buy in this particular instance, perhaps personal information did not get out. I'm not particularly thrilled at the response that they gave. Well, this particular server was not supposed to be connected to the internet. Well, guess what? It was connected to the internet. But even if no personal information got out this time, unfortunately, HealthCare.gov is riddled with vulnerabilities. And even when you don't get off the website, just past last summer, and this didn't get a lot of play, there was a contractor that was involved with HealthCare.gov. And one of the workers there, one of the navigators, left a backpack with written personal information of 400 people who were in the Affordable Health Care Act on a backpack on a street in Hartford. I mean, it is just all kinds of problems, and medical identity theft is extremely dangerous. It's dangerous not just in usual ways of identity theft, but in fact, your medical records can get corrupted with someone who gets at your medical insurance, and you can actually, because of problems with the HIPAA privacy laws, get the wrong blood transfusion. So, I mean, the problems are just myriad with the Affordable Care Act and HealthCare.gov.
So you mentioned HIPAA, and I guess I was in Congress when we were dealing with patient privacy, but patient privacy essentially is out the window?
You know, it is to a certain extent, but then what happens is it becomes very difficult for someone whose privacy has been invaded through identity theft to have the false information removed from their medical records. But I'll tell you another thing that is shocking me, and that is the navigators. These are the people who are getting all of the personal information that when someone connects to healthcare.gov or calls in. Under the Affordable Care Act, there are no background checks on this. Now, the IRS just got in a tremendous problem with 1.5 million pieces of personal information going to people who hadn't been screened. Well, they're going to pale next to the information that is in the hands of navigators who we don't know who they are for the Affordable Care Act.
Stephen, I want to switch gears a little bit, and let's talk about Home Depot and the many other retailers that have become a victim to security breaches. New York Times had an article that just came out, and in it they quoted that the Department of Homeland Security and the Secret Service recently estimated that more than 1,000 businesses in the United States have been infected with malware. So yeah. How should people react to this news? 1,000 businesses?
Yeah, actually, it's probably, as I say, it's not as bad as you think. That's low. It's probably worse. The particular type of malware that's been used quite often is something called backdraft, and it allows the hackers, most of these have been the same Eastern European hackers, to get at this information from retailers that we all go to. I shop at Target, I shop at Home Depot. The first thing, as we talked about last week, is don't use a debit card. If you use a debit card, your bank account is in jeopardy. Stick to that credit card. But unfortunately, we need retailers to shift over to the smart cards with the chips before the October 2015 deadline, because if that had been done, this malware would have been worthless to any of the hackers. So right now, consumers don't have to worry too much other than check your account. Check your account regularly for any fraud. Use your credit card. Don't use your debit card.
So you're saying that, do you think our congressional leaders should speed up the process right now?
I really think
is that possible, though? Is that really feasible that could happen?
I wish I could say yes, but I'm afraid not, because unfortunately there is such a hesitancy in many in the retail industry to take the expense that is going to be needed to shift over, even though they ultimately are going to have to do this by October 2015, and some places like Target are trying to move it up. I don't think that both Congress is going to be able to act quickly enough to advance that. So unfortunately, despite the warnings of the Secret Service and the FBI that this is going to happen again and again with software that these companies cannot find on their own, we're still going to have these problems.
You know, given what Target and Home Depot and all those retailers face, I bet they would have been happy to go ahead and get the accommodation of chip card exchanges done, wow, about a year ago.
I think so. I think if Target could go back in time, if Home Depot could go back, they would be the leaders in going to chips.
Stephen, we thank you for your time as always as you Skype in from Amherst, Massachusetts. A reminder, you can visit Stephen's blog. I love the name of it, scamacide.com. And don't forget about his new book, Identity Theft Alert. So, Stephen, we thank you very much. Turning to yet another transaction, buying an airline ticket. What about it? Well, it's the subject of this Max to Life report.
You're watching Max to Life.
There's so many travel sites, all promising the best rates. But how can you find the best price for booking an airline ticket this summer?
Well, believe it or not, sometimes procrastination pays. Not in life, of course, but when it comes to buying airline tickets. You get the best deals a lot of times about 6 or 8 weeks before you travel. Don't want to wait until the last minute, but you don't want to book too far in advance. Also, if you jump online in the morning, sometimes you'll see deals that you didn't see the night before. That's because some airlines let people hold tickets until midnight, and then if those people don't buy the tickets, the best deals are back online the next morning. So check back, be patient.
Don't forget to shop around different sites and look for coupon codes. And lastly, the more flexible you can be with your dates, the better rate you can expect to get. I'm Karina Brez.
Get more lifestyle news at Newsmax.com.